Hello and welcome to the 1212 podcast / the Remember When with Diona Doherty podcast crossover episode. Cheers for ears, first of all. And if you could do me one favour, check out leansupperclub.com, which is the sponsor of this video. They are market leaders of ready-made lifestyle food. They offer breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks and treats. They're a family-run business. They provide restaurant-quality products all over the country. They're in Spar, Eurospar, Centra, Super Value, Cost Cutters, and Vivo Extra. When you walk into the likes of Eurospar and stuff, you usually see like a fridge just sitting open. They're their own specially made fridges, and all their food's just sitting there ready to be picked up. You usually get most meals for like a fiver, and they are phenomenals, aren't they? Do you know we've had a couple in our time? They're lovely. Singapore hot chicken noodles are phenomenal. They do a couples package, 10 lunches, 10 dinners, 2 packs of protein bombs for only 70 quid.
All at the same time, you'll be stuffed.
You'll be stuffed. You'll be holding in farts for eternity. leansupperclub.com. Make sure you check them out. Thanks for sponsoring the episode. Let's start this.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Remember When with Diona Doherty, a podcast where I, Diona Doherty, ask my guests to remember when something happened in pop culture history that had some sort of effect on them they'd like to share with us today. Today is a very special episode because it's a crossover episode with the 1212.
I have a name for it.
For this crossover?
The crossover, the podcast episode.
Remember 12?
Remember when to.
Ah, shit. You can go to the Grand Opera House website to buy tickets for my show Bridesmaids in Northern Ireland or Home Alone. It's for deaf people. Or Home Alone this Christmas that we actually co-wrote and are producing. Just go buy tickets to some shows. The links are in the description. I have two guests, sort of co-host this week. My husband, Sean Hegarty, comedian. I said that wrong. I meant to be like my husband, a comedian, Sean Hegarty. Anyway, and that's so shit. What a crap
It's
introduction.
And it's gonna be better.
And it's not. And we're joined today by relationship coach Lisa McFarland.
Yay, I'll do my own yay.
Thanks for joining us. So you have an Instagram account, Relationship Coaching NI. I would like to ask a question to start off this podcast that I think is one of the most important questions that any couple should find out. Should couples fart in front of each other?
Absolutely.
Oh, we don't.
We don't.
Oh, good job, you.
Now the odd one
I can't
slips
die to
out.
fart right now, but I won't do it.
The odd one slips out, and you have to pretend like you're
That was it
you're
there.
cleaning a window or something, or do you know, it's like, oh, my trainers are. How are they making that noise on a carpet? Do you know?
Right.
So
And does your tummy not get sore from
Oh.
holding
Oh no, we have other rooms that we fart in.
Oh.
the
Okay.
first 5 years, we have a room in our house that fucking stinks.
Love it.
You have to swim through it.
So
It's
like,
everyone's farts mix.
what about in bed? One just slipped out.
Oh,
it has
middle of the
happened.
night, middle of the night, 2 or 3 a night.
Okay,
They
so
wake you up and
that's
stuff,
okay.
you know, that kind of
'Cause
thing.
they've been
Fart
held
2 or
in.
3 times in the middle of the night.
No, not every night.
But that's because they've been held in all day and they have to get out
yeah.
sometime.
The first 5 years of our relationship, I thought I was going to have to get stomach surgery just from holding them in.
Actually? Oh. No. I was like, God, it's that bad.
So this must have been some arrangement that you've made or something.
Do you know why I found it very
Politeness?
bizarre? Because I've never farted in front of anyone on purpose.
Yes.
I say on purpose.
Well,
I have accidentally farted in front of people. But I do like to keep it on
Yeah.
myself. Because I just think it's nice to have a bit of mystery about you. Mm-hmm. And mine's is my farting habits. Mm-hmm. But any men I know fart in front of everyone else. Sean's the only guy I know who doesn't fart in front of people.
My brother literally goes up to the door and holds it and goes against the door in front of his wife, in front of his kids.
Like
They
to
all
make
have a
it
good laugh.
louder.
No need for that. Just can we be discreet? We can be discreet and respectful.
Well, see, this is the thing. It's like, I'll happily burp in front of you. I'll do it now, Lisa, if you want.
On command.
But I just always think, why? I can burp on command. It's bad for your stomach, but it makes you fart. That's why I won't do it.
Try and do one now, go.
Sorry, that is so
Well
rude,
done.
but I can do
That's
that.
alright.
I mean, sorry, this is going a really weird direction straight away.
I know someone who can fart on command.
Oh, that's a bit dangerous,
Hey.
isn't it?
I would be scared of shit myself.
I don't want to say her name, but if my brother watches this, he'll be all, yes, we do. Because you could just go now and she goes...
And
like,
she'll, and it's a girl as well.
Yeah, a girl.
It's a girl.
So you think couples should fart?
I think couples should be respectful, but I also think it should be okay to be yourself, maybe, you know, and whatever works for you. It's working for you guys.
Yeah.
Keep at it.
I once asked my ma to pull my finger, and she was all, have some respect, you're at your granny's funeral.
You did. So I'm not going to start farting in front of you, to be honest.
No, it works for you guys. You
Like,
just
I've
don't...
given birth in front of him, and I won't fart.
Yeah. And nothing came out when you were giving birth.
Didn't shit myself.
No, that's what we were waiting on the whole time.
Yes.
And do you know what?
That would have been ironic, wouldn't it?
I know,
If you
like I
not-
won't fart, but I'll shit in front of him.
Yeah, Clean that there up, but I won't. Yeah.
But it's mad because I remember my whole pregnancy being like, oh, I really don't want to poo when I give birth, because that's what happens. People always say.
Did you say that?
Did you shit? when you
No.
gave birth?
I had sections. I was just, yeah.
You'd sex?
It's sections.
Section.
Section. Yes, but we've all had sex
sex.
to have babies, and yeah, it's very important.
We haven't. Oh.
Oh, we did IVF. In your face,
There was
Lisa.
literally no
But-
fun and
There was no fun. There was no fun.
We could both be virgins still and have a baby.
I'll have 3 other.
Oh, I.
Diona.
He did have sex to have the other 3.
Right.
Just once, and then I kept it in my hand. A
Couple years later.
Got another one.
Yeah. Just store it up there.
On the subject, this is a disgusting episode.
It has got
We
so
always do that.
dirty. At least this is not the way it normally is.
I seen online today that, do you know, long eyelashes, like the ones that
Look
girls
like spiders.
get put in? Do you know what they're called? Do you know how they like originated?
No.
Their proper
Terrified.
name for them is called, this
like
is
a-
mental, cumbrellas, they're called. Because when prostitutes were getting a wee bit of Spider-Man in their eyes, the eyelashes like sort of blocked it. And that's
You know you can
why
get gonorrhea in your eyeball if you let someone come on your face.
What would your...
This is
gone mental.
Say that again.
My
You can
parents
get-
listen to my podcast.
Well, there's a thing called oh, Fiddle, forgot. It's not kombucha, that's a drink. It's something else.
like the
But
way
it's
all
when
this-
women,
Sorry.
if a woman chooses to lie down and then lots of guys come over the top of her. I'll have to
Lots
look
of
that up.
guys?
Yeah, it's like if you're in a polyamorous relationship or something.
Oh.
Um,
right,
Have you ever
Have you watched-
spoke to couples?
Oh,
Sorry.
yes. And if you watched How to Build a Sex Room, there's people in there, there's 9 of them, and they're in a polyamorous relationship, and what her kink is that she lies down and lets all the guys ejaculate all over her. But that's grand, like that's your shit, that's grand.
Don't kink shame.
No,
we
we
kink
don't
shame.
say yuck to anybody else's yum in my world. So yeah, but if you have to check, you have to get people to do the wee sex test, because if they've gonorrhea, you can get gonorrhea in your eyeballs.
Oh, that would be nasty.
The fractured penises are really, they're probably the worst, because they never really fix.
A fractured penis?
Back to front cowgirl is the most common way to break a penis.
My mate broke his dick a few weeks ago.
It's very difficult.
Still like in a coma. But he'll come around.
Oh, for God's sake.
Got it.
I was all, who's this guy?
I was
You didn't
actually,
have
I know,
any
her
friends?
and I were like, oh, this is terrible.
I thought it was hilarious that you, like, the disgusting shit we've talked about so far, and you went, oh, Fiddle.
Fiddlesticks. Do you know the guy, Johnny Hot Rock? No, that's not right. You know the guy who does all the mad, you know, that do the whole Portaloo, you know that series? You know.
Jackass?
Yes.
Oh,
Portaloo, they do that, like they chuck them off the
Yes.
back of a mountain on a Portaloo.
I
Is it
hate,
Jackass or?
I
Johnny
absolutely
Knoxville?
What did I
hate
say?
watching Jackass. It makes me feel so uncomfortable.
It's
So
great.
he fractured his penis doing one of those tricks, and I think he still has to catheterize himself like 3 times a day. Now
Whoa.
he does have kids, so it must be working in some shape or form.
But surely you need a bone to fracture it. How can you
Yeah,
fracture
the
it?
word isn't great. I don't think now. I'm not a nurse or a
Okay.
doctor, so the word I don't think is great, because it's actually what happens is, so when the penis is erect, it's about you break those blood vessels.
Yeah.
So and it's all very complicated, and it doesn't really go back to what it was before.
Okay, so now that we're on this topic about sex, how important is sex in a relationship, do you think? Like, is it number 1, number 2, number 3? What do you think? Or does every couple vary?
Every couple varies, and there are couples who don't have sex, and as long as both are totally happy, that's fine. I believe that sex
Tell me about us before we come on this podcast.
I think that sex and it's very important. I think it's the glue that keeps couples together. It stops you from being a roommate.
Yeah.
It stops you from being a
Yeah,
roommate.
yeah.
And let's face it, if your person has made you come a couple of times the night before, they're less annoying the next day.
Yes, a couple of
Did
times.
you say a couple of times?
That
Jeez,
works.
Lisa.
Well, there's lots of women here multi-orgasmic.
I've yet to meet one.
Oh, okay.
I've met a couple.
Like now it has to be in within like an hour. It can't be you've made her come 3 times over 3
A
days.
video.
Oh, within an hour? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like we're revealing all.
Apparently men are supposed to ejaculate 21 times a month.
Right.
Otherwise they can get like
Stressed.
cancers and
Do
stuff.
you know who
Do you know
researched
who
that and came up with that fact?
A man.
Fucking man.
A man. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, here, if we don't come 21 times in a month, we're going to start battering yous.
I don't know if it comes. I don't know if there's like. Comes, I
That's
don't
the
know.
correlation.
Yeah.
So it's, I feel as a relationship coach, I'm getting back to this question. I feel as a relationship coach, it's quite sensible. Now, all relationships go through times of stress when sex and intimacy are lower down on the priority list.
Yeah.
I'd say probably communication, healthy conflict. What kills libido for women is resentment, and what kills a man's erection is stress. So if you're holding resentment towards your partner, or if your partner's if you're in a,
Do you know what kills my libido, Lisa?
tell me.
Pizza.
Okay,
If I've had a takeaway,
feel
there's
fat.
not a chance.
not a chance.
I'm too full up. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I feel a wee bit gross.
Lots of people don't have sex at night time. Lots of people find that after a big dinner and a few
Sleepy.
cocktails and all. No good. So,
Hold on.
and
I remember
men's-
Katie Price and Peter Andre explicitly saying the bed is for bedtime.
Aye,
We're
yeah,
going to sleep then.
Yeah.
We'll do it during the day in the bathroom or something.
And men are more horny in the mornings.
And men, do you know why men are more horny in general? Do you know
Dreaming
why?
about other women.
Cheeky fucker.
Hi.
Men are apparently hornier than women because subconsciously they want to spread their seed. They want lots of little thems because they're so mad about themselves. That's why men want to have sex more. You're looking at me like that can't possibly be true.
Yeah, no, I
Look
think
how many kids you have.
I know what you said about the morning time.
Oh
Is it
no,
nothing to do with the morning?
Nothing to do with the morning.
Oh.
Just like in
the
general.
testosterone levels are highest in the morning for men, and they're lowest for women in the morning sometimes. But anyway, we can get that figured out. But yeah, talking,
I
communicating.
know women should do night shift
Ah,
and then
and come home
it's
for a
not
ride.
morning time for them. Then it's night time when the man wakes up.
Have you ever, when your kids are when you're and your partner wakens up and goes, "Oh, that was a great night," and you feel like you might stab them in the eyeball?
Yeah.
Been there.
I've done like with Sean. I remember one time waking up in the morning. He was, "Oh, I can't believe she slept through," and I was like, "Did she?
Yeah.
Fuck."
Yeah,
You did.
Yeah, you did.
And even recently, because we're like, our wee daughter's 1.5 now, and you sort of start to get those questions from people like, are you going to go again? Are you going to have another one? And recently, Sean was all, oh, geez, like, I don't know if I could, like, it's like all those sleepless nights. It was so hard, like, such a hard thing to
dear.
start in your neck and on as all. Not once did you get a tit out, Sean. Not one time did you do a feed.
Did he do any like walking about or anything in the middle of the night? And
She didn't want walking about, didn't she not?
just went on the boob.
Just
wanted-
on the boob.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
One each. One for him, one for her.
Exactly. Absolutely.
There's a
Absolutely.
story of someone who went to the doctor's one time. They're like, my child just doesn't sleep at night. And the doctor goes, get a bottle of vodka. And they were like, I'm not giving my baby a bottle of vodka. And they were like, that's for you. Knack the bottle of vodka, fucking go to sleep.
You won't hear them.
And the next morning, the baby will be all right.
I feel like that could be child abuse, but anyway, we'll leave it there.
That's called neglect.
That's
My mum
called
told me that.
actual neglect. And look how well you've turned out. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? What could go wrong? So
What
your
more could
question,
go wrong?
I think sex and connection, intimacy. When I'm coaching couples and their sex life is in the toilet, I tell them they have to kiss every day. You have to at least kiss your person.
tongues?
6 seconds is tongues, like
6
6 seconds?
every day.
6 seconds of tongue? No?
Just a 6 second kiss.
Oh, it doesn't have
you
to
can
be
do
the-
the tongue for 6 seconds. You can do the tongue for the whole time. You can tongue the whole time, mate. You just have at
Can
it.
you do more
So
than
let's
6
go.
seconds?
Let's do ours now.
Go. I'll say if it's a good one or not. People do send me messages sometimes and say, "Can we send you not that WhatsApp voice because it's not that voice."
Do you know what? One of your clients listening going, she's doing my voice.
No, this was a gentleman sent me a picture to say, "I hear you're an expert in the field. Could I send you pictures of my penis because I've heard that's really oversized and I would like your professional opinion."
Oversized.
Oversized, and I was like, "Oh my
We says we
days."
wouldn't talk about this, Lisa.
Yes, I know. Sorry, slipped out there, mate. Slipped out. My hubby goes, "Oh, go on, tell me. Go ahead. Sure, it'll be a giggle, and I'm like,
He's dead. Is he a dick pic?
Well, he was just trying. I just thought he was fascinated by the whole thing, and I was like, I'm a professional woman. We cannot do that. This person's getting blocked right now. He was all like, also people like sometimes I put pictures up with my feet in them. People message me going, "Don't give away the food porn for free."
Oh yeah,
What's that?
people are into. Also, do you ever think your
Like,
husband
can you
might be
make
gay?
proper money? Yeah, I think they're all interested in what other people's look. I think men are all interested in what other ones look
I
like.
think guys just want to.
That's why.
Sean, you can tell us. You're a guy.
Go.
Would you be interested in like having a joke at other people's dicks?
Not 1%.
What? A lie.
Why do you think that show's so popular?
The
Naked Attraction.
Naked Attraction.
Like, I'm literally pausing it going, okay, now that's an interesting one. Okay, that's okay. Oh, look, there's it.
I find that such
about the lady
uncomfortable
bits when they're-
viewing. Like I think especially if I'm watching it with Sean, or like something I'm because I think not that we never
Imagine if
watch
she
it.
farted while watching that. Oh dear God, we'd be in
That's why she
trouble
wouldn't
now.
watch
Worse. Imagine a queefed. That's the worst word in the history of words.
Do you think so?
Oh.
No, moist is the worst word in history.
A moist queef. Fuck my life. That would be the worst.
Moist,
But
definitely.
watching we've only ever seen clips of that show on
Oh,
Gogglebox.
it is, that's the bringer. That's the worst.
Yeah,
you know?
that's when they're like, and I think watching it, you're all, I don't investigate my bits really. Like you probably should, but I don't know which one of those minds looks like, and it's I don't know because people see if people go like, and you're all, I don't know if I got no. I don't know.
It's the
Who
hugging.
applies
It's
for
the
those?
hugging. It's the naked hugging. It just cracks me up.
Oh, is that what they do? They hug?
So then one comes. So the one who's put. So then like they eject. So one person has to come. Oh, well, you didn't get chosen. So then they're naked doing this like really weird. Oh, it's so cringe. It's just all so cringe. But good TV. Good TV. Better than Love Island. Tell you that for nothing.
Nah, I'm alright.
I don't think I can.
So anyway.
maybe I'm just a prude.
So we call it erotic intelligence. So we have to have erotic intelligence for our person to keep that all alive. And Esther Perel is the person too. She's the expert in all of that.
On like knowing what your partner's into and all those.
On yourself too, and just keeping that. So we know I talk about emotional intelligence, and so erotic intelligence is just keeping that alive within you and figuring out how it works between the two of you and all that. So it's good. I love it.
Seems like
I
a
love
lot,
it,
lot
but I
of
also-
effort, doesn't it?
And there are times it is a wee bit of effort, but there are other times when it just flows and it's just nice and easy. But it's the thing, it's the connection between the two of you. You know, it's nice.
What age?
nice.
You have kids?
Big yes.
What
mhm.
age are your kids?
Almost 21, 19 and 14.
And what do they make of what you do? You know, of the because obviously I'm sure you talk very openly about sex and about, or not so much.
Yeah,
you
I
do,
talk about everything. Yeah, my big girls both have boyfriends. I mean, that's just shit, isn't it? That's just shit for them.
Do they have cumbrellas?
Oh,
And thankfully not gonorrhea.
can I tell you
And not gonorrhea.
what he done? He's so fucking inappropriate. Do you know what during our wedding?
What did I do?
Well, during our wedding speech, right? Sean literally said, just stand up during his speech at our wedding. He said something along the lines of, "And I'm gonna take Diona up the stairs to the boner." And then when they got there to my dad, and my dad was all, and like did it, give him like knuckles, and then he didn't really know what Sean had said, and he was all, and I was like, "Did you just tell my dad you're about to buck me?" And then knuckled him.
So dad
Well, you
was,
are getting mad.
he was
I mean-
busy going through his speech in his head, so he wasn't properly listening to mine. So he just seen the fist come out, and he was like, "All right, good
As long
one."
as it was just a fist and it wasn't some other sort of fisting, like at the start would be a different thing. So, yeah, we had an impression story in church where I was pregnant with number 3 and this lovely lady.
It's a funny name for a
No,
child.
number three. And she said, she was all congratulations. And my hubby was like, it's okay. It was all my pleasure. Don't worry about it. Well, this woman in my Presbyterian church in the foyer, I thought but like, here's the thing. She had youngsters herself. She knows how they got in there.
Aye.
Like, people are having sex. We need to take away the shame and guilt.
Aye.
Maybe not by fist bumping your father-in-law, but we have to take away the shame and guilt. Most 99.9% of people are thinking about sex or having sex. 90% of sex is done for pleasure. Only 10% of sex is done to have babies.
Exactly.
So we have to be talking about
Why
it.
do you think we don't talk about it though? Do you think it's like the whole religious thing over here, and because we're in such a small kind of
Great book is
country or
called
island?
Come As You Are. So it was decided in the 1400s by the church. that men's genitals would be celebrated because they are out and up, and women's genitals would be shamed and hidden. And then it's just to keep women down and keep women small and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it was decided. And then obviously we can see how well it's gone in the church. So yeah, it was just to keep women small, keep us shamed.
It's weird though that I think it's so bizarre that we've decided some things should be, like we're talking about farting and burping, like you don't really want to fart in front of people, but you'll burp in front of people. Or like, you know, like you'll say like eat your dinner in front of someone, but you're not gonna like ride in front of someone. Do you know what I mean? Well, some people do, I suppose, but there's things that you just do in private and things that you do, and I just don't like. It's mad how we've developed,
or even like good words and bad words. Like, what's a bad word? What's a good word?
It's just all sounds.
It's just all sounds.
That's it. Because I have a friend, I remember before saying, she goes, I can't bear the word cunt, and I was like, but it's just a sound. It's the same as
coming out of the hole
sandwich. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just a
sound.
selection of syllables put together.
Now, a cunt sandwich is a completely different thing.
That's what we call his parents' sandwich.
Do they really listen? They're not going to listen after that.
On that, actually.
That's what we called hugs growing up. It's like, who wants a cunt sandwich? We just did a big fucking 3-way hug.
But yeah,
it's funny because I'm sure you come across people all the time who, I know, I think like every time I say the word common, this is going to be like
innuendos here.
Who don't get on with their in-laws.
We do have that.
And I'm sure that's a massive stress on relationships as well, because we both get on with like our in-laws. I think you like my man and dad. That's safe to say. And I like his man and dad. Like we all get on. We actually, it's pretty embarrassing because our mates are our parents. Like we don't.
Yeah, we socialise with them.
We socialise with our parents. Like whenever we have drinks.
My poor girls, we socialise with them too. So it's fine. Yeah.
User is inbred as well.
My number 2 was at the pub the other night in Antrim where we lived, and she goes, people were asking for you, mummy, and I was like, okay, that's embarrassing.
Her mates.
Her mates were like, Where's Lisa? Is Lisa not coming out? And I was like, I'm so sorry, Lara. I'm just so sorry.
Is that because they want advice or they follow you
online? And then they follow me on Instagram and they're always like, crying in the
club. It's like, you ring your best friend, you're all, he's just broke up with me and I don't know what to do. Is your mum there?
Yeah, it's a wee bit like that. It's a kind of wee bit like that.
I don't want to speak to you.
It's a wee bit like that.
Have your daughters ever dumped a fella and the fellas rang you after for advice?
Thank God in heaven, no. That'd be
a weird one, wouldn't it?
But I often say to my girls, like they're young, and if this works out, that's great. But I often say, in years to come, if it doesn't work out and you see your boyfriend now with another woman, you just go to the woman and you go, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I did all that. And then you're welcome. You're welcome. Because like they know what their love language is, they know what their attachment styles is, they know how to have healthy conflict.
Well, I have a bone to pick with all of Sean's exes because they didn't
do anything. They didn't do anything.
They're all dead.
Oh, Jesus.
Under the carpet somewhere.
Would have been funny if they were, but they're not.
So let's talk love language. Because we were talking, you mentioned this to me on the way up and I was like, is that not just English? But you were like, no, it's an actual...
It's a thing. And I think I spoke about it briefly when Jordan Humphreys was on the podcast. She'd met, and I'd never heard of a love language before. But it's like what gets you. What is it? What gets you going, or what you
I love
appreciate?
Just to wait and see how people explain it.
Well, I know what it is. It's
so there's 5 of them.
Right.
So time, acts of service, words of affirmation, gifts, and touch. Halfway through, I always think I'm going to forget one, and that's going to be really unprofessional.
Okay.
So what we do is we speak love to people how we want to receive love. Okay. So say you love to get compliments, or you'll give compliments. So my love language is time and words of affirmation. So I'll say to my hubby, that looks lovely, like your new shirt. And he's like, all right, whatever. But if I take him a cup of coffee while he's cutting the grass and a Kit Kat, 2 fingers or 4, whatever you choose.
Friday night for us.
He would think that I'm the Queen of Sheba because his love language is acts of service. Most men's love language is acts of service and touch. Of course it is. So we know how to do both of those in one file sweep.
So I don't think I know what my love language is, but I'm sure I'll figure it out.
So it's a test. It's a free test online.
It's a test online you can do?
It's a free test. So it's a guy called she's looking at Gary Chapman. He was a marriage counsellor for years and years and years. He still is. And he just built this wee tool to help people. That's what coaching's about. It's about giving out tips and tools. So he built it's called Free 5 Love Language Tests. Free 5 Love Language Test. And you go on, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of make it into a wee date night. It's fun, and it's like, would you prefer your person to empty the dishwasher or bring you flowers? Okay, so either that's acts of service or gifts.
Yes.
Yeah, so... And gifts don't have to be really big, expensive things. Gifts are more like that bottle of wine that, she said that she really liked, or that packet of crisps that he said was gorgeous the other day. It's about seeing your person.
I know what Sean says then. You say people do things. That's the one they like. So you always buy me sweets and stuff in the shop.
But does that mean I want sweets in the
So
shop?
that means it could mean that gifts are your love language. It could mean.
Okay.
I don't think you want sweets in the shop.
Also, your love language changes. So, like when your babies are wee, acts of service are kind of big. But as your
Yes.
babies get bigger, that becomes less and less. So
It's
it
more
does
time
change.
away from them.
Yeah,
Is your
time. Also, you can do this with your kids from their 4 years up. Really useful for teenagers. Really, really useful to do if you have teenagers.
I suppose it cuts through all the bullshit at the start of a relationship where you're like, here's what I appreciate in a relationship.
Yeah.
So
Here's how to love me.
Yeah. What do you think I do nice to you?
Let's go through them again. Time?
Time.
Right, so by time, what do you mean?
Quality time.
Right, okay.
Quality time. So there's some couples who maybe only really need to see each other once or twice a week. They don't need to be in each other's pockets, or there's some couples who don't sleep together. They have their own, so maybe they're okay. They don't need all that time.
We do spend a lot of time together.
We do.
And the thing is, if your love languages are evenish, your relationship's going to be easier.
So there's time, there's words of affirmation,
acts of service,
acts of service,
touch,
gifts.
So say one person is really like PDA.
I don't think I do any love.
So
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe acts of service, because I do all your shit for you.
Yeah. I don't shit. She just does it all.
As in, like, I do a lot of the shit.
Yeah.
I do all of the, like, adult stuff. Sean's like, I can't ring the dentist, or I can't, like, open up letters or organise things, so I'll do that. So
Perfect.
what one's that again?
that could be acts of service.
Yeah.
Also within relationships, there's usually a balloon and a string.
He's definitely the balloon.
So am I. It's okay.
What she
All
means,
the
though,
balloons
is
are the-
because I'm a rope down there.
Right, okay. So what do you mean by a balloon and a string?
So a balloon is the one who comes up with the ideas and has all the... Did
The other
you
one's
ever
to
watch...
anchor them down?
Yeah, and we have to be really careful we don't anchor them too
You're the balloon,
much.
I'm the anchor.
Do you ever watch Modern Family?
Yes.
Do you know the gay couple in that? Mitch and well, there's one of them. They're a perfect example. So like one of them gets stuck up a tree, and the husband stuff can save him. So that's, and the people always joke us that my husband and I are actually them. So
Which one are you?
I'm the balloon too.
Oh, you're the balloon.
So it's really
Nobody wants to
difficult.
be the balloon.
I love being the balloon. It's really difficult for balloons to do life stuff. When we need to partner up with someone who knows how to do life stuff.
Yes.
And that keeps us. But it's the dance, because the life stuff people, if they get too caught up on boring life stuff, they come really, and that string is really deflated. So they need the balloon to go, let's do this, let's plan this, let's go here, let's do
Can you be
that.
the balloon and the string?
It can depend too. Like when my kids were wee, I was much more stringy.
Aye.
Like dentist appointments, doctor's appointments, all out there. Now
Yeah.
I am coming into my full balloon now.
Yes.
And
Oh my God, I fucking love that. I'm coming into my full balloon.
I'm coming into my full balloon, and I have the freedom to do it because my kids are all getting bigger, and my husband loves my balloon. That sounded weird. That wasn't weird at all. My husband loves my ballooning. I don't know what that means. He has always celebrated my balloon. That's even worse.
I think
So it's getting
coming
worse.
to your full balloon should be put on all condom packets.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be
Now
class?
you can't use coconut oil with condoms. You can't use an oil-based lube.
Like a lube?
You can't use an oil-based lube with condoms. Everybody knows this. So it has to be water-based lube or silicone-based lube for condoms.
Why?
Because it breaks down the actual condom.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
it's more
makes-
likelihood of it breaking.
That must be why you have 3 kids.
So like
Coconut
coconut oil
oil.
is a great lube. Organic coconut oil is a great lube. But you just need to be careful. You can't use that with condoms.
So with the balloon and the string thing, I
Go
think
back to
I
it, yeah.
am both.
Yeah, you can be.
Because I think I do have like big ideas, and then I probably will anchor myself back down.
My husband is the biggest string. And
What a fucking slag. Always a fucking string.
but
You're
a night
club
out,
sandwich and he's a string.
see you in the night out. Oh my days.
Full string.
Full
What a-
balloon.
What a
Full
noise.
balloon.
Full
on a night out.
balloon. I'm going, okay, I think we should go home. Really, I think it's 4 o'clock in the morning now. Full balloon.
Do you know what? Up until I'd say for the first 3 drinks of the night, Sean's a string. Drink 4, full balloon.
Full balloon.
I think drink 4, Sean goes, fuck it, we're up all night. And he'll get, what do you call your man with a tummy trumpet or something on the on YouTube? And Sean will be all and loving him by himself. And I'm like, being a string on the sofa.
You're on the string.
Oh, fuck it, out of bed.
We taxis Belfast, the whole disaster, and we were telling our big girls about it, and they were like, it's so responsible. You know you can't go out unless you have a lift home. And I was like, I know. And the 2 of us are in the city like this here. Yes, we know. We're going to do better next time. We promise. Or the 2 of them were like, and we're like, Mom, Daddy and I are going to do much better next time. We promise. We promise.
It's so funny when kids start to parent their parents, isn't it?
Well, like they are grown ups, but you know, it's just, oh my, that is just so irresponsible. And I was like, okay, I know, Mum's going to do better. I'm really going to try. But it's great. It's great. So. You flip back and forth, but it's about the dance, so we can't, so if the balloon is too mental, it's too, so like when this whole thing started, and I was going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, the string can be like, okay, one of the last huge arguments my husband and I had was in the Crawfordsburn Inn, and I was printing flyers to give around my local, I don't think I would do this now, it's fear God, me even thinking about it, printing flyers to put around my local area to tell people I was a relationship coach. What? Right. I must have had was having a nervous breakdown. So I said at dinner, I forgot to finalise those flyers, and I could see the face of fear descended on him. Now, back in the day, that would have been me off DEFCON 4011, giving off, huffing, the whole thing, but took myself to the bathroom, had a good talk in the mirror to myself, and came back and said, blah, 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 what's the fear? Can we get through this? How do we do? But that was just me. I was, as a balloon, I was just going too fast. And we're in a partnership, you know. Yeah. We're not running around here, single people doing whatever the fuck we want. Yeah. We're in a partnership, so we have to maybe wait for the string to come along with us. And sometimes the string is quite sensible and is good for guidance.
An example of one of Sean's balloon moments was when Sean was trying to convince me loads in our old house to put the kitchen stuff in the living room. Okay. And put the living room stuff in the kitchen. Okay. You wanted to have...
remember this.
You wanted...
Like were we hammered? And I was like, no.
Like move the cupboards?
You were like, no, keep the cupboards and stuff in the kitchen, but like move like the dining table and chairs into the living room, and then bring our sofa and our TV and all out to the kitchen. Oh,
well, like make it the kitchen like a wee den kind of thing.
Well, more just like... not right for like just I was like, why would you do that? Like Sean's he would get bored so quickly, wouldn't he? And has such I'd be like, you're bored, stop trying to do things that don't make sense.
Balloons get bored very easy. We probably all have a wee bit of ADHD.
Like right now he's trying to move all the kids into different bedrooms for no fucking reason. Everyone's happy where they are, and he's like, we should move thingy over there, and I'm like, why?
I just like to freshen it up. I just like to
but it wouldn't even be fresh for you. You'll not be in the rooms.
So there's also there's things called 6 human needs. Don't test me on these 6 human needs because I won't be able to pull them all up. But one of them is variety. And if your person, one of their high human needs is variety, and the other person's isn't, then that can just be a wee bit. But these are just really good things that we have to know about. You know.
That's why I think we need to try polyamorous. Maybe.
Really.
Give it a go.
Yeah.
No.
You shut your mouth. Could you imagine? You couldn't find 2 people to love you.
Yep. Well, yeah. It's all we have, and that's the thing. We can't even freaking well talk about. Let's call it normal sex, but there is so much going on out there that we have to get talking about. Open relationships, polyamory, all sorts of things.
It's just scary to think about it, though, isn't it? Like, I suppose it's not if that's what you're into. Do you know what I mean? But I suppose you don't know what you're into until you try it.
You don't?
I think we need to try something.
I don't know. No, we're grand shush.
No, we're grand shush. No,
that's such the Irish thing. We're grand shush. Nothing. Not to go never do nothing.
I just think we have to be able to talk about the normal things. We can't even talk about the We came away from church years ago because, the stuff that they were talking was just, I couldn't agree with it. Couldn't get on board. It was just absolutely ridiculous, and just started arguing with everybody. And it was horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous. And then we just had to come away from church.
You said your dad was a minister, didn't you?
Yes.
Is he still a minister?
He's passed away now, but he was. No, it's okay. And both my parents are passed now, I'm a minister's daughter. I was brought up in church, and you guys are far too young to remember this, but like in Northern Ireland in the 70s, like Sundays, we weren't allowed to, swings were actually tied up, like talk about swingers.
On a Sunday?
I talk about swingers, we've come a long way. The actual swings in the park were chained up on a Sunday.
Oh my God. So that's like a more extreme version of Tesco's not open until 1?
Exactly.
That's
my wild. Children give off about Tesco's not open to 1. I'm like,
we couldn't even swing in the
We couldn't even go to watching the TV. Couldn't watch the TV.
What did you do?
On a Sunday?
And you weren't allowed to be, out of your good clothes, like you had to go to church at 10:30.
But Songs of Praise is on the Sunday.
Oh, you were allowed to. We were allowed to watch Songs of Praise, and my daddy was allowed to watch the news. But that was it. Of course he was.
Of course he was. Does what he wants.
Of course he was. But the numbers of mornings I had to go to church at 10:30 in the morning, hungover to shit, like desperate.
Oh my God.
Desperate. I spent my youth in Denali.
That is something I'm so grateful of. As my parents never ever made me go to mass.
Brilliant.
My mum believes in God, but my dad is atheist, and I grew up just like, I suppose, I'm definitely atheist now, but I grew up just being like, you can do what you want, you know, you don't have to believe. So I just never really believed in anything. But I was so grateful that they never like forced me to go. Was you or Sean was an altar boy?
Just to give me something to do.
No, genuinely,
Swear
because
to
he was
God.
fucking bored. Of course he was.
Yeah, of course he was. Well, we were the same.
Subliminally.
Our children went to church with us, but we never told them anything about Northern Ireland, and my big girl still is not happy with me because she came from, I think it was my first year, and she was like, it's been a really poor parenting day today.
She said that?
I was like, okay. And we're not discussing it until we get home. And I was like, okay. So I was like, did I forget a note? Have I forgot to pay for something? What's happened? Something's going on. So she went into the kitchen and everybody else was away, and she goes, you did not tell me about any of those things. I thought that stuff that happened in the summertime was because of the royal weddings. I didn't know anything. And today in school, we had to put ourselves into, you know, this category or that category. And I had no idea what was going on. And a wee friend from the estate beside us was like, come on, you with me, 10-minute conversation, Irish history, here we go. And
way.
she didn't know what she was.
Oh.
I even hit the term. She didn't know. She didn't know
I
anything.
love that. I love that she didn't know what she was.
Didn't know. So then when
There should have been a middle grip for people like that who hadn't a notion.
Do you know in Northern Ireland we still have to, so in my other life, my husband and I run a business, we have to still every year put in the document to say what everybody's religion is.
Unbelievable.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's the
But
same.
is there
It's
not
been
a
the same
box?
form since 20 years.
Is there not a box for atheism? Or,
Yeah, but if
or
you
do
send
have
it back, then they will send it back to you saying, well, what school did they go to?
Yeah,
And
they basically send a form
There's
back
not-
going, are you an atheist Catholic or an atheist Protestant?
And they want to know about if you're heterosexual or homosexual. But then there's no for non-binary. There's no box for that. There's no box for they them. There's nothing. It's disgrace.
What happened when you were an altar boy? Was it when you were an altar boy something about a bee?
Yeah.
Was it when you were an altar boy?
No, this was just when we were just regularly one Sunday at Mass, and just everyone's bored out of their mind and there's nothing going on. But then a bee got into the chapel.
Right.
So everyone was like following this bee and stuff. So everyone was just looking around them, and then it came round by the priest and he was like swiping it and stuff, and everyone was like pissing themselves laughing. And then it landed on the microphone and it went like over the whole place. And then it flew around again. It like sort of went somewhere for 5 minutes and then came back. And it was flying around his head, and he went to smack it off, and he knocked his glasses flying, and the place.
You
just
live for those
erupted. It
things
was
in church,
brilliant.
don't you? You just live for those things.
Yeah.
You just live for those
Best
things.
thing that happened to me until I was about 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
That's that is a real sad story about his childhood, if that's the funniest
No,
thing.
I'm
The
with
best
him.
thing
Like
that's
I'm
happened.
absolutely with him. Like somebody fainting or something in church, like it was the best day.
Yeah.
Do you
best day.
think old people should be allowed to have sex?
There's lots of research now to say that people are still having sex up into their 90s. It mightn't be as often and as vigorous,
Yeah.
but it's still happening. It's still happening. And it's not necessarily even penetrative sex. It's the connection. It's the cuddling. It's sleeping naked. It's,
Sleeping naked is a no-no for me. Do you sleep naked?
Does your husband sleep naked?
What?
Is this
Do you know
weird?
what? That was so rude of me to be like, hey, he's too naked. That's not what I
But
meant.
it's what works for you.
Do you know what it is?
It's like,
I just don't like the idea of my bits touching my sheets.
really interesting.
Even though I've got clean beds and clean sheets, I just don't want them mixing.
with the mixing.
I don't know what it is.
And what about when you're having sex? You're naked when you're having sex. The touch
She's
the
not.
sheet. Just she like
We just
she,
put
like,
a
get-
hole in my nigger.
Does she get the? We can get those. Like just go to a
Crotchless
sex shop.
knickers.
Just go and get a pair of old crotchless stockings. Would be good for you.
He was so sad. He's like, she's not.
She's just not. So it's like bra on, bra off,
I'm
knickers
only
on. It's
joking.
like,
T-shirt
Do you know what I did
jumper
this
on,
morning?
coat.
Did I not? Put 2 bras on. That's how tired I was. I put 2 bras on. I was like, why am I wearing 2 bras?
Well, you're not going to believe this, but this whole thing started for me because I had huge issues around sex, and it was like talking about sex in the daytime I couldn't do it. I was
Oh,
married,
right.
was with my partner, was with my husband for 25 years and couldn't talk about sex in the daytime. Could have sex, enjoyed sex, but couldn't talk about it in the daytime.
Why is that?
shame and guilt from church.
Aye, yeah.
You know,
that's
pull your nightie up and get it over and done with, you know. It was shame, I couldn't talk about it. And then when my kids were getting to an age where I was like, right, I have to talk to them, because if I'm not talking to them, somebody else is going to be talking to them.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, I have to just, so came away from church and then just did my life coaching, and him and I had gone through a bit of a sticky thing, a bit of a sticky pat. Now this is just all getting worse. Patches on the sheets now, we're just all going bad. Yeah. Anyway, in our business, there was just a big change thing. It was just, we just had no skills to figure out how to do it. So we went to a coach. We went a couple of times. He was not a happy camper about going the first time, but we got there, and of course, typical man, why haven't we done this for ages? We should have been doing this months ago. And I'm just like, going to stab you.
Yeah.
So we went 3 times, and then my whole thing was, everyone needs to know this. How can we have even got to 25 years and people not know this stuff?
Yeah.
So then I trained as a life coach, and then in life coaching, that's how I learned how to desensitize myself from things. So just started talking about all the things, listening to all the podcasts, reading all the books, and then I was like, right, that's it. Everyone really needs to know this stuff. And that's
I know, because I think, like, you as a couple, like, you definitely need to be able to talk about absolutely anything.
You tell me how you communicate about your sex life, I can tell you about your relationship.
Oh, you want that?
No. Well, sure. If you want to tell me, that's fine.
What did you ask there?
How do you communicate? What's your sex life like, and how do you communicate about it?
It's like, here. She's just gone down for a nap.
Perfect.
So we've about 15 minutes to get your knickers off.
Perfect. So it's a priority. That's great.
That's all I'm going to say.
That's great. That's healthy. It's really, really healthy. That it's in your consciousness that you need to have sex, and that your daughter's going down for a nap, and let's get this done. Perfect.
Sean sometimes goes, it's near the end of the month and I've only came 19 times. So
Got it. 2 more to knock out
2
tonight.
more. Oh, you're getting beat.
2 more to knock out tonight. No, it's about just keeping that spark alive between the two of you, and, you know, not taking for granted. People give me a hard time sometimes, because I do recommend, like, setting time, like a sex dates. I do recommend that. And people are like, I just want it to happen organically, and I'm like, I'm going to slap you in the face, because it never happens organically. You always shaved your legs, you always went for the wax, you always did the things. Hopefully men showered and didn't wank before they went out on a date, you know, all the things, you know, or maybe you should, so you last longer. Anyway, here we are. So that's just my feelings about that.
Isn't there a thing where, like, footballers aren't allowed to have sex before a match?
And boxers and all, keep all
So
that.
they've got, like, pent up frustration and stuff. Isn't that what it's meant to be?
So they say. So not my area of
Sean
expertise.
does the dishes. I think it's really clean in our house.
It's really clean.
But then we have a glory hole under the sink too, so that's why I do.
Wow. That's all I'm going to say about that. Wow.
He genuinely has a dishwasher in our house too.
So it's important. We need to talk about things like this. Are great because it just normalizes all the things. You know, healthy conflict is another thing that we need to learn how to do. Nobody knows how to do healthy conflict. So this, and when I coach couples, very, very, very few couples have come to me because there's been infidelity or if someone's spent the whole money or something. It's the little tiny things that get in the gears that then couples are off the track.
Yeah.
It's the little things like resentment, like he doesn't take out the bins. Why does he not listen to me? And it can be as simple as you're not speaking the right love language. Healthy conflict, we all go, you did this and you did that and you and you and you and you and you. And when you do that, you're speaking from a place of fear and a place of anger. You need to let all that calm down. You need to let the red mist calm down and then say what you actually feel. I feel lonely. I had a couple one time, and the girl said, I feel really lonely in this relationship, and I feel like a lone parent, and I feel this, and I feel that, and I really, really good feeling words. And he goes, well, I don't. I was like, well, my face did this. But inside my heart was like, this is... Like, that he couldn't hear his person say she was lonely.
Yeah, just because he's not doesn't mean she isn't.
Exactly.
But I think, like, for a relationship to work, obviously you have to be, like, very open about everything. But I think, do you find there's many couples that come to you and they've kept secrets from their other partner? Because I recently told Sean, like, a couple nights ago, a very big secret that I had kept from him for 6 years.
Awesome.
And it was that
you did find somebody else.
No, I knew he was going to propose, and I never told him. And I felt so bad the other night when I was blocked, and I said to him, "That's all."
How did you know?
Because Sean told me he had a gig in Edinburgh, and that they were, like, flying me over as well. He pretended I was his manager or something, and that we were going over to Edinburgh. And it was on the way over. I went on the Facebook page of the bar. He says the gig was in, and there was nothing about it. And then I went, oh. Also, a divorce had just come through the week before, so I was like, oh.
Here's the thing. Well, mostly we always know.
But
usually know.
But I've always said to him that I never knew, and I thought, it's going to break his heart if I tell him that I knew. And then the other night when I had drinks on me, I don't know why, but I just fucking told him. And I've had drinks on me a lot since we got married, Lisa. But just the other night, I told him.
I couldn't give a shit though.
Yeah.
That was good because I thought I'd break his heart.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Years ago too.
We went.
Yeah, but most men wanted, like, you went to such an effort for it to be a surprise. That you not a wee bit like, what's the point? I could have just done it
necessarily be a surprise, to be more just like special, or to be nice for you or for us, or to sort of come full circle.
Yeah.
That's why I did it. It wasn't necessarily to surprise you. Obviously, you don't want them to know. That's why I'm sure you have a lot of people come to you and they're like, he hasn't proposed to me yet. And you're like, well, maybe stop
talking about it.
Yeah. Why is he not proposing? Do you know what I mean? They're looking for that moment or that special time or this circumstance or fucking event.
My sister-in-law
would
like, say the year before my brother got engaged, would have been like, he hasn't proposed to me yet, and she'd be all, when are you going to propose? Like, because they were definitely at that stage where they're about to get married. But he was all to me, I'm trying to propose, but she needs to stop talking about it, because then
it's such an outdated thing. The man having to propose, such pressure.
Yeah.
I was talking to her at the weekend, and she has 5 youngsters with their partner, and they've been together 25 years, and they're still not married. And I don't think she's like, I don't think want to. She says we don't even talk about it.
No.
It's a very, and like marriage
in itself. Reasons, isn't it?
Yeah, marriage in itself is a very, well, it's a made up construct, and it was made to, and we're still in a place where we probably have to have that bit of paper if someone dies, because it's the main thing. But it's a really made up construct. It's just, and it's far too much like that men have to propose. If she wants to get married that way, tell her to fucking get the finger out and get it done.
Well, they're married and have kids now, so it's fine. But I know you're so angry at it.
So that would not be. I'd be much more professional. But if a woman came to me and said, "You won't propose," I would say, one, why do you want it so badly? And if you do want it so badly, then maybe we need to look at that within you, and why you can't say it. I
think as well, we live in like an Instagram world where everyone wants to put the photograph up of the ring. And do you ever see someone put a photograph up of the ring and you're all, I don't want that ring. Where is it?
And I say to people all the time, like, the wedding day, so much money spent on the wedding day.
I know.
And then people will say to me, so it's £85 to come and see me for a coaching session. Oh, wow, that's wild. I'm like, are you having a laugh?
Yeah.
People spend 20 and 30, 40, 50, 60 grand on their wedding day, and they couldn't afford to come for 3 coaching sessions.
I know.
What the friggin' hell?
It's wild. But even like we obviously spent a fortune on our wedding, like everyone does. And I regret doing that. Like, we had a brilliant wedding and a brilliant day, but now looking back, like, I know a girl who recently, so I was doing a gig in Lavery's Comedy Club, and she was sat in the front row, and she happened to go to school with me in Derry, and she was wearing white. She was wearing like a white skirt and a white top, and I was asking about, is anybody married here? And she was all, we got married today, and I was all, fuck up, no you didn't, you're at a comedy club, Liz. And I like moved on and dismissed it, because I thought she was just blocked and just talking shite. And then on the next day on her Instagram, she'd put up her wedding photographs from the day before. She had gotten married in the Merchant Hotel in Belfast, and they just had a night out. And I was like, that is fucking cracker. That's the way to do it.
A friend of mine, their neighbour got married in their back garden. Now, it's a nice back garden. And then they came into town to the Barking Dog, went for dinner, and then just went back to the house for drinks.
I love that. And if I was to do this for my next wedding, I'm going to do that.
Wedding. Good idea. Excellent.
Invite me.
Bring a relationship coach, you'd be grand.
The story behind that girl in the comedy club, this girl actually messaged Diona about 6 months ago through her agent and says, could Diona do a gig at my wedding? And Diona was all, $5,000. And the girl goes, I'll fucking show you. It's a tenner in the Lavery's.
She just turned up at the gig, and that's not what happened. That would be fun. Yeah, but imagine that is what happened. She's like, I'll plan my wedding around a day that you're gigging in Belfast, and you'll do it for £100.
And here's the thing: what are we getting married for? Is it for the show? Is it for our families? Like when we got married, like I think I knew about 10 people at my wedding, and there was 110 or something there. They were all my aunties and uncles that I hadn't seen, and my mummy and daddy's friends, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
See, the most important thing which we said when we were organising the wedding, was us two saying our vows and like committing our lives together. But then after that, it was like, then it became about everybody else. Like we give everyone in our wedding party, which there was about 15 to 20 people in, we give them all like hundreds of pounds of presents and like boxes of gifts and stuff. And then we literally went right from the minute we finished saying our vows, let's not give people a free minute the rest of the night.
I would packed it with a full choir. We'd Santa come give out gifts.
We had a Christmas choir. We had all kinds. Like, it was literally like a show from the minute we
was an
said
event.
I do.
It was an event.
Do you know we done like a raffle? Not a raffle, but like definitely not a
Balloon
raffle.
popping?
Like there was balloons on like in attached to everyone's chair, and there was pins on the table, and everyone popped the balloon, and some people won prizes.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, it's all events.
So sort
Did
of like a
anybody
raffle.
give away a relationship book or read a book about relationships
Nothing.
or read a book
Did
about
we?
how they come? Anybody? I'm
No,
just joking.
I know.
So yeah, need to educate ourselves on how to have healthy relationships. All that time was spent. Awesome. Sounds like a brilliant day.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Celebrate
Yeah.
marriage. Brilliant. But educate ourselves on how to do the thing.
Do people come to you and within 10 seconds you're like split up?
Aye.
I've had a couple of people.
Yeah.
And would
is
you
the
give them
easiest
that
thing to-
advice?
Is the easiest thing to say just yous aren't compatible or...
Said to a fella one time, it's not overly professional. Said to a fella one time, those biceps have got you far enough, mate. You're going to need to do some serious work on yourself.
Oh shit.
Really?
He was a total narcissist. He was a total
Just
narcissist.
mad about himself.
Mad about himself, and had gaslit his poor girlfriend. So she just was like, she was just.
What is gaslighting? Is that
so
like making people out to be mental? Like you convince someone they're crazy? Is that what it
that's
is?
the movie. Yeah, you're right. That's the movie, and that's what it's based on. A black and white movie from years and years. Gregory Peck, maybe, but it can happen really, really easily too. It's like, I don't think you'd be very good at that. Oh, you tried that before, and
Sean gaslights me about driving then.
we all gaslight other. We all gaslight
Have you
each
seen
other
our
a wee
car's a
bit.
fucking big hole? Back
There is.
our car looks like we've hit a fucking cow. or
I
something.
reversed our car on this skip.
That's the thing.
It's got a big, massive. It was missing its light and all. We had to get it replaced. So that's
Yeah.
probably why. Maybe it's not your gaslight me about driving. Maybe you're just giving me advice on how to drive better.
He's just trying to make you safe. But gaslighting comes sometimes. So like I told my kids they weren't allowed to walk past vans with slidey doors. You know, the white vans with slidey doors because
they get kidnapped?
Exactly. See, it's not a very normal thing to say.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
I've never heard anyone be that.
Yeah, so they
But I
still.
mean, I suppose you don't
so
want your
they
kids getting
they still
stolen.
make fun of me now. That
Yeah.
They're like, oh, there's a white van, mummy. That's where the paedophiles live. I'm like, oh, God.
Would you not set up a wee fake kidnapping and then just be like...
Really good
fucking-
idea.
And they'd be like, punked.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a
After
really
6
good
months
idea.
in a dungeon. Punked you.
See, I told you, mummy's always right. I told you, mummy's always right.
Chained to your radiator, starving you all. Got you good.
Yeah, no, don't look at me in ages. So yeah, no. So then we do it from a place of safety, but when we take it to the level where the person, like I was doing an interview one time on the radio with a girl from Women's Aid, and she said that some of the most professional women, killing it during the day, running businesses, can't go home and put the kettle on out of fear of not doing it properly.
Oh,
way.
right.
Can't buy a loaf in Tesco's because it might not be the right loaf. So it's just that constant undermining, and it wears you down and wears you down and wears
Yeah.
you down, and then you can't even see it. So that's
I
gaslighting.
suppose people do that to other people because they want them to feel so shit that they can't ever split up because they're like, well, what are you going to do without
control.
me?
It's control, and narcissists do it really well.
So that's
really, really well.
gaslighting?
That's gaslighting. Yeah, that's
know
gaslighting.
that.
That's
Yeah.
gaslighting. And the other thing is, do you know anything about your automatic negative thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, like I have an intrusive thoughts.
Yes. So your automatic negative thoughts say things to me in the car on the way over here. What the hell are you doing, Lisa? Why would this girl invite you on this podcast? Who do you think you are? So I call her Shirley. So she's my wee mate, Shirley.
She's very smart.
And she's very smart. She's very smart. Sometimes she is very smart.
Shirley's
And
hilarious name.
Shirley's hilarious. I know. I don't know where I come up with it. So Shirley and I have to go places together. It's okay, Shirley. It's going to be all right. It's going to be fine. We can do this. We can do hard things. So we have to talk to Shirley. But the problem is when someone gaslights us, it sounds really like Shirley. So we believe them.
That is the most mental thing I've ever heard, Lisa. But it makes sense because everyone has like that negative voice.
Just when you've started talking your negative voice down and thought, I could do this, I could do that, and your partner comes in and goes, really, could you? You're back to square one again.
I suppose too, it depends how you were raised because
Mm-hmm.
I was genuinely raised. My mum and dad used to tell me lovely things all the time. Like my mum and dad used to be like,
Brilliant.
you're so brilliant and you can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way you grow up with such confidence that you're like, actually I can achieve whatever I want to achieve and nothing is too out of my reach.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose that sometimes then if you don't succeed at certain things or you're you know, maybe you grow up thinking you're better crack than you are or you're better at something than you are and you're actually shit at it or whatever. But I suppose it's like when you raise your kids to be really confident within
great.
themselves, then they'll have less of those
Less of them. Yeah.
negative
And that's
thoughts.
my job with my kids. Because I was brought up thinking that Jesus and a man had to save me and that I was pretty worthless and a sinner.
Yeah.
And the only way to be anything would be if Jesus came and saved. Jesus was saving you, and a man was going to save you.
Aye.
And you have to remember, like, I'm in that era where we watched Pretty Woman and Jerry Maguire and all that. You know, You Complete Me and all that shit.
Yeah.
But you know, you have to figure out that you're a whole person. I hate it when people say my other half. Please don't say that. You're a whole person. They're a whole person, and you want to build a great relationship.
Yeah.
Looking at your own shit and farts, and then building a great relationship. That's what you want to do. So, like, say I was a huffer for 25 years. Huffing was my go-to.
Poppers.
Stonewalling, sulking, that sort of huffing. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
So there's 5 things that shouldn't be in relationships: huffing, stonewalling, criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and there's 4. I was going to say 5 because it was love language.
So-
There's 4.
Huffing, criticism, contempt, and
Stonewalling.
what do you think you do? Sean definitely huffs.
You huffer.
Silently.
I go really quiet.
Silently.
And then just do like housework and just busy myself.
Yeah,
Aye.
goes to his glory hole by this fucking thing.
Just do dishes all day. Just
All I can see is some midget. All I can see is a little tiny person under the sink in the wee hole. Yeah, sorry.
But if we have like a falling out over something, which we don't fall out that often, like we've never had a row, we don't raise our voices, whatever. But if we have a fallout over something, Sean just goes quiet. I think he just goes, well, I'm not going to win this argument, and just walks away. And then I be like, do you know, like when a brother and sister fall out and 10 minutes later they're all, well, we go outside and play in the flies, you know, not on a Sunday. But I would just be like, oh, I'll just get on with the day as if that argument didn't happen, because I can very quickly go, that's that finished, done, let's move on with our lives. But Sean will be thinking about it for the next hour, possibly because you haven't said all you wanted to say, whereas I'll have said all I wanted to say.
Because he's scared,
Highly
he doesn't
likely.
know how to do healthy
Scared of me?
conflict.
maybe, aye.
Aye, so the thing, so it's really wise to take a minute. It's really, really wise. I say to people all the time, go walk the dog, you go have a bath, go let the red mist descend. Okay, so that's not huffing, that's just being a wee bit wise and saying, like my husband in the middle of lockdown at some stage was like, yeah, I'm out. And I was like, now where would we be going to here? Because I don't know where out means to. The kids wanted to go to some party or something, and it was in that grey area where you're allowed to go, but you had social distance, and it was all messy time, which I can understand. So no idea how my teenagers were going to understand it. So he's like, well, that's it, I'm out. And I'm like, out. Now, where would that be? You went out to? I'm just out. I'm out. So he took his bike, and he did go out on his bike, and he came back 40 minutes later. He went, yeah, that wasn't great. Sure, it wasn't. I was like, no, that was not great. But back in the day, I would have then been huffing. So
because
we
he didn't say where he was going?
Because he didn't say where he was going, didn't say his words, didn't
just,
say
like, went
anything.
off, yeah.
Just upset me in any way, shape, or form.
right.
I would have shut down. Huffing is proper huffing, like I'm a professional at, is actual emotional abuse.
Right.
But
You're so nasty.
No, we haven't diagnosed him yet.
I'm sorry.
I am, because I could do 4 days.
Right.
And I'm the worst sort of huffer.
You can huff for 4 days?
Oh, easy. And also,
Are you
I
sure
could
you're not talking about poppers now?
No,
Huff for 4
definitely
days.
not.
So you can-
No, worst sort.
4
Worst, sorry,
days.
interrupting.
No, go ahead.
Worst sort. So, like, you'd have the discussion maybe on a Thursday, and then on Saturday night, people were coming over for a Chinese. So the people would come over, great crack, oh, funny. Close the door, lock the door, huff. My poor husband, like, he would
Oh,
be
that
like,
is terrible, Lisa.
It is
I'm
terrible.
glad you don't do that now.
I'm glad I didn't. When I heard from our coach that I couldn't do it, I huffed with her.
That's
Brilliant.
And then was going to stab her. So I thought huffing was actually better. So my hubby was like, are you not going to speak? And I'm like, clear.
That is
and then,
amazing.
And then, like, so huffing is what we did when we were children. So
Yeah.
we bring that really childhood behaviour into our grown-up relationships, and we have to look for it. But the first time I didn't huff and asked for a hug instead of huffing, you know the movies where the gangsters have like cement on their feet and they throw them into a river? That's what I felt like. I was walking across the floor with these like cement boots on to say,
Giving in.
can I have a hug, please? And then that's his like trigger to go, okay, yeah, let's talk about this. So,
And then you change the cycle.
and I changed the cycle.
Because
so I don't know.
I've never really said this before, but for years with like my stepsons, I never hugged them. We never hugged because it was a wee bit awkward. It was like I never ever wanted them to feel like they were betraying their mum or I was like stepping on any toes, and I just didn't want them to feel. We were always very close and got on very well and had like always had a great relationship, but just the tactile side of things, I was like, I don't want them to feel like they would be betraying their mum or anything like that there. But then it was like so weird because they would come into the room and like give my mum and dad a hug and
They
like
would literally give, like, if we had
everyone-
mates in, they would give our fucking mates and all a hug.
and then
we'd all-
and I wouldn't up until like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it was. And then Sean was like, just break the cycle. Just start hugging them. And now we all hug
And it just
5 times a day. And it's just normal.
Feels so weird. So we'll call that reprogramming.
Yeah.
So you're programmed through
I do
your
nip them as
childhood.
they hug me, by the way.
We're programmed through our childhood and we'll have to reprogram. And then, but every part of us, all our nervous system wants to go back to the old programming. It's like somebody gives you a new piece of kit or a new tool. You want to go back to the old one. But we can reprogram as grown-ups. We definitely can. But let's get to the end of your huffing, Sean. So you, you stop for a little minute and you're maybe go into yourself a little bit. Then how do you get yourself back around again?
Just enough time passes where I forget why I'm quiet.
Okay, perfect.
And I've just done
You just can't keep your guts
jobs
shut.
and, you know, I'm just...
He does. He starts doing housework.
distracted myself, like...
And do you then feel that issue has been resolved when that happens, or do you feel a sense of...
I don't think so.
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
So my advice would be, absolutely, you're doing the right thing, as long as it doesn't take 4 days like me. Just let it all calm down, okay? And when you calm down, or not calm down, but when you've got your... I want you to really think, what do I feel? Because the tip of the iceberg is all the, shit, and I'm just going to be quiet now. But what is it underneath? Is it that maybe you didn't feel heard? Or maybe you didn't feel seen? Or maybe, so it's you have to come with the I feel, because what we do is go, you this, and you this, and you this, and the other person, and you, and you, and you. But when you say I feel, like I was giving you the example of that lady was lonely, okay, I feel like I don't have to agree with everything. And that's okay.
Yeah.
You're giving him way too many tools here to be like to me. For me to lose an argument.
So
Sorry, go
it's
ahead.
like, how do you put this into words? Do you know when two people are like really hungry or something, and one person starts to get annoyed or angry or something, then you
Hangry.
almost become less hungry as a way of going, I've given a really shit example by saying hungry.
It's okay, we're with it. We're here, we're in it now, keep
Are
going.
we? I'm so confused.
So
Keep going with it.
there's two people, right?
They're both hungry.
They're both hungry.
Yeah.
Let's go for something else. Not hungry. Give me another adjective. Noun.
They're
What do you call them?
both... They've both been to the gym. I don't know what you're trying to do, so I don't know what to give you.
I feel it would just be better to finish with the original
Yeah.
scenario.
So 2 people are hungry.
Right.
And then I'll do the hard work of figuring it all out, okay?
Thank you. Do we owe you 85 quid for this?
This is going to be double, mate. Double.
170.
Right. Quick maths.
Everybody's hungry. Remember, everybody's hungry. Okay, so everybody's hungry.
right?
Huh?
It's like two people are...
Oh, fucking hell.
I know, me too. I'm losing the will here, but go
This
ahead.
is why-
I'm
this is why I don't
happily going to
speak.
gaslight him right
This
now.
is why I don't speak.
Go ahead, Sean. I'm
Just need
here
to
for it,
fucking
Sean.
Hoover in here. So,
This is the face.
right. So there's a cum balloon, right?
I don't know if he's on it.
So two people, and if one person goes off on this fucking one side and they're like, I'm really this, or, you know, like to the extreme, the other person almost goes extreme to the other way to
Just to oppose them.
balance it, you know. Whereas sometimes I feel like, and I'm sure you back me up on this, you're very argumentative and very strongly opinionated, right?
Just
I think there's a
just
kinder
say yes
word
so
than
we can get to the
argumentative,
end
but
of
yes.
Yeah. Strong-minded.
Say yes, so he'll stop talking.
So she would be very strong-minded, very argumentative,
so.
and I feel like sometimes when we not have an argument, but when we have a heated discussion, because you are so strong in that area, I just go the opposite way, and I go, there's no point in me challenging this or trying to win, or
I know what you mean now, yes.
We'll
So
get there.
you'll just go like, what's the point? She's going to argue till we're blue in the face. I'm just going to be quiet.
I'm not going to win anyway. There's no point. So then it almost devalues what I'm thinking or feeling, maybe.
Yeah,
And
brilliant.
that's why I just go quiet then and just start.
So you feel devalued was the end of that story.
Oh, we're near the end of the year, guys. We've just opened a fucking can of worms.
So here's the thing. Just say, I totally hear you. Yeah, I totally hear you. That does not mean you
What if
agree.
she says pardon?
You say, I totally hear you again. You said 6 times. Say, I totally hear you. With lots of this through the last 2 years, people having different opinions about all
Yeah.
the things. And yeah, I totally hear you. I can see how that works for you.
I love when she says, you never listen to me, and I go, pardon?
All the
You never
time.
let, and she realises
We-
that.
I go halfway through the second, I'm going, you never. Oh, fuck.
We write for a walk, well, a month so, and my hubby was like, did you see so-and-so's house is for sale? And I said, nah, I thought it was so-and-so's house. Now, his so-and-so he doesn't really get on with, so he's quite happy that he was moving.
Right.
But I was like, no, I think it was Mary's house actually. And he goes, no, it's definitely so-and-so's. And I was like, oh, right, okay. I knew whose seven house it was.
Yes.
Um,
You just let him have it.
I just
'Cause
was
what's
like,
the point?
What's the point, mate? So then about 3 days later, he comes back and he goes, "Oh, I was driving past there. There's Mary's house." I was like, "Cool."
Aye.
You leave healthy space.
Yeah. For
You
the
leave a
person to figure it out for
healthy
themselves.
Leave a healthy space, because when you are so adamant and listen, I was you, Amber. I'm a professional huffer. When you're so adamant and you get so bogged down in it, you leave no healthy space for the other person to step into.
Yeah.
So when it all comes a bit toxic, the person has no healthy space to say, and like my husband's 6'2", he would say, "No, I was scared to say that." And I'm like, "What? You were scared to say that?" He goes, "Sure, I knew you would go off on one."
Yeah.
So leaving that healthy space is so mature.
So I don't know which one of us learned something there. Do you need to just be quiet for longer, or do I need to?
I think my professional opinion would be, when you see him shutting down, that's what it is, shutting down, because he doesn't know where to go.
Yeah.
I think you both need to just take a minute and say, "Look, put the kettle on, let's talk about this."
Yeah.
And let him speak. I say to people all the time, active listening is so important. So active listening says, you imagine that you've got like masking tape on your face, like not in a kink way, just masking tape. So you let the person, we are actively listening right now. So you let the person get to the end of their rambling.
Yeah.
You know the stories.
Yeah.
So you'll have to hear all the
All
stories.
about the hungry people and
But
whatever it is.
you've got your masking tape is on. Your masking tape is on.
Yeah.
Get to the end of the story, and by the end you'll be like, "Huh, right, okay, I can hear that."
Yeah. That's what gone ahead.
Lads, any relationship problems? Anything you just want to...
Yes, I love questions and
Here,
answers.
no?
I love questions
Come
and
on,
answers.
somebody has something. Look, you're both going fucking
We're
beef.
we're very happy within ourselves.
They've been laughing their heads off.
Well, listen, we need to finish up, but before we do, because this is a crossover episode, but it is still Remember When. Do you have a Remember When?
Oh yes, I forgot about this.
Yeah, so I know when Diona voice noted you voice noted her back with yours, and that sort of hit something with me. Do you know, in music, like with music in the 90s, when you used to go into Woolworths and buy tapes, and I don't know, you're
a tape.
of our generation, aren't you? With the tapes and
Oh,
the,
I am like way
before
older than you
CDs.
too, yeah.
And I used to go in and we used to get our pocket money, but our pocket money, Joe, like maybe you got £1 or 150 or whatever, and you'd spent most of it, but you'd maybe 50p left, and you'd be like, right, well, I don't have enough here to buy the latest top 40 single, you know, or the number one in the
Got
charts, so I'll go to like the bin of like
I remember the bin,
songs
yeah.
that have been
Aye,
out for usually a wee basket, isn't it? Like a wee shopping
all
basket.
the Daniel O'Donnell tapes.
And it's filled with just shite from 6 months ago in the chart. So I would go in and there'd only be maybe like one song or two songs, and one of them is maybe Daniel O'Donnell, but then there's another one that's like Jamelia or something, but you have 50p left and you don't want to go home with 40p, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know how many times I just bought 5 of the same song. So I swear to God, in my mum and dad's attic, I have, do you know the old like sort of tape pull-out things, or like drawers, and you used to have like 4 or 5 compartments.
Yeah.
And you go in and you will see 4 or 5 songs of like...
Like
it's
5 Boyzone. Yeah, remember, 5 of the exact
So
same
funny.
ones. That is
So
so stupid.
So
We plan on
90s.
reselling them?
I don't know.
Or are we just trying to get rid of your money?
I just wanted to get rid of my money, I think.
It's like, do you know, like the council at the end of
Balloons cannot go
the end
home
of the
with
tax
money.
year. Oh, the balloons don't go home with money.
We don't go home with money.
See.
No need for
He
that.
drinks
behaviour.
it.
You fucking
No
string.
need for that. No need for that behaviour.
Go home with your money, you
Going
fucking
home
dirty
with
string.
money? Catch yourself on, man.
Lisa, what is your Remember When?
My Remember When is, and I remember on Sundays we weren't allowed, with no swings, we weren't allowed to, but we had to record the top 40 because I had to go to church.
She's like the
We did
radio on.
that.
Secret Service job up in the bedroom. Silent, silent, silent. Had to do the 2 buttons, you know,
Yeah.
the play, record, play, record.
Yeah.
Now, if you were really pro, you could stop it, like for the talking, and then play, record again.
Yeah.
But then many times I did that and forgot to put it back on. So that was the whole
It was
disaster.
the bane of the 90s was DJs talking over the start and the end of songs. We were like, I just wanted to hear the
Yeah.
intro without anyone talking it. Because
Yeah.
now whenever you listen to it back, you're going to have old banter.
But
Do you know what I mean?
Do you ever listen to your song or your tape for about a year, and then you're listening to the radio down the line, and your song comes on, but you remember it with the DJ finishing what he was saying? You're like, what is this fucking weird at it?
Yeah, why is he not talking about his chip sandwich or something?
Or what about when you recorded something and you wrote on it, do not record, like a videotape, like VCR, like do not record over this.
You used to break a wee bit out of it. There's a wee bit of plastic you could break out, but then
but I
someone,
didn't
your
figure
dad
that
would put
out.
tape over it and
Yes.
re-record, and you're like,
I didn't
"You
figure that out, and I lost so many George Clooney episodes of ER. It was ridiculous.
Oh,
Ridiculous.
of
ridiculous.
ER?
Yeah.
Aye, God.
Did like that.
I used to make my own radio stations, so I'd record, because you'd have a wee microphone in your thing, in your radio as well, and I would like be my own DJ and then put the song on then. But my brother came in and recorded over my tape one time. So I was like listening back to my own radio station because I'm a narcissist.
Typical string, Lisa.
Such a string. What a string thing to do. And he had played and recorded his voice over my tape going, chicken burgers. And that was it. I was absolutely livid.
Just to annoy you.
I went and chucked a golf ball at his head. So I was like, you've ruined my radio station by shouting chicken burgers over it.
Although it would be great if he did it. It'd be great if he did it straight after. I tell you what I want, what I really, really want.
Chicken burgers.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Lisa, thank you so much for joining us on the
very,
Remember
very
When and 1212 podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to plug? Your Instagram account is
relationship.coaching.ni. There's all the things on there. I have an ebook. I have a wee Facebook that you can join. Use a wee subscription for that. But I also think that every couple should come for a tiny bit of coaching. Not me, necessarily don't come to me, but every single couple should come for 1 or 2 sessions just to learn more about the things we talked about today.
Yeah.
We have to learn how to do healthy relationships. We don't see it from other people. We don't see it growing up, really.
Yeah.
And we have to learn how to do it.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Value me more.
Finger me more.
Wow. On that note.
I'm away for a cunt sandwich.